You're listening to The Manning Report with your host, James David Manning. The news behind the headlines.
All right, so it is clear if you've been around the church, especially if you're in church leadership, and been around the traditional churches, that church population is dwindling greatly, that people don't attend church anymore. I'm not sure that religious ideals are dwindling. It's just they have been transported to a more liberal understanding of Christianity and the Bible. Now, churches that put on a great entertainment show and have traditionally, over the years, have had large audiences, are still carrying those audiences, the evangelical types or some of the independent churches. They still carry a pretty strong membership, mainly because they put on a lot of entertainment, they bring in a lot of famous people, they bring in a lot of well-known speakers that cause people, even though they're no longer interested in what the pastor says, but the pastor brings in somebody else who comes from another state, who's got a flourishing ministry, so they'll come and they keep coming in and they keep doing, musical chairs within the church. So those churches are within the evangelical or the black cultural community, or some others are still, with good entertainment, are still flourishing. But traditional churches are dwindling in terms of their population. And the Mormon church, which used to be known for its famous Mormon choir. I've been to Mormon Tabernacle out in Salt Lake City, Utah, about 5 or 6 times. Each time I go out west, I usually stop there and stop inside of that, what is the Mormon Tabernacle Choir Music Hall. And there are no microphones in there, but the sound is extraordinary, the way those Mormons built that. Anyway, so the Mormon church is now suffering as well in terms of its membership because of its strict adherence to biblical principles as they understand them and as they interpret them. And they've begun relaxing. I've been in that auditorium a large number of times, and just for historical purposes, I'm a theologian. I have a master's degree in theology, a master of divinity. So I mean, whether I believe in a particular religion or not, I'm fascinated by the Mormons, what they've done. Anyway. So the Mormon church is now relaxing a large number of their anti-LGBTQ laws and other structured laws as well, because they're losing members, and they realize that they could sink in a heartbeat if they don't start letting the LGBT influence into the Mormon experience. So here, the Mormon church changes rules for weddings that exclude some. And I'm not going to read this entire article, but I think that it's important that we realize the Church of the Jesus Christ of the Latter-day Saints changed wedding rules Monday in hopes of preventing family members who aren't church members from feeling excluded. Couples who get married in civil ceremonies will no longer have to wait 1 year to do a temple wedding ceremony. And that only members in good standing can attend. Well, the faith said that in a news release. Church leaders say it will allow family members to come together in love and unity, but doesn't lessen the temple ceremony the faith believes seals the couple of terms. So eventually what's being said here is that the Mormon church, if you got married outside of the church, right? Let's say you went to the city hall, a judge, or on a ship someplace, or in jail, I don't know, and you became a Mormon. Well, you're gonna have to get married by a Mormon preacher, Mormon bishop, right? Otherwise, they don't recognize your marriage. If the Mormon church doesn't recognize your marriage, and they don't recognize your children, they don't recognize anything about you. If you're married, now if you come to the church just as a member and you want to convert to Mormonism, that's fine. But if you come married already, unless your wedding was sealed by a Mormon bishop, then they don't recognize. So what they've done is they've relaxed that rule, right? They've relaxed that rule to where you can stay in the church for a year, and then they will allow you to have a temple wedding, and what was also excluded because the weddings are very ceremonial. They have the Mormon tabernacle, the administrative building, then they have the Mormon, if you will, auditorium, and then they have a very special place, a building just for weddings, and only a few people can go in the wedding. We were there. I don't know if some of the members that were with us when we went out there, and they have a building just for weddings. They have a building just for worship, they have a building just for singing, and they have a building just for weddings. You can't go in there if you're not being married or you're a close family member. So what they are doing here, the Mormons, is that they are allowing family members who are not church members to come into that building for years and years and years out there in Salt Lake City. Your family members could not come in that building, if they weren't Mormon. But because they're realizing that that's causing the decrease in the membership of the church, they'll relax that rule and say, well, let every Tom, Dick, and Harry come now. Now, we understand that. But, I think that what's happening is that a lot of churches, such as our churches, are moving more to, we have a ministry now that reaches beyond our church borders and doors, and we're constantly restricting who we are as a people. And right now, while we have traditionally a smaller seated membership than we've had in years gone by, we have a really, I think, 100 times more powerful ministry now in so many, many different ways. But here, that's what churches are under, and it's really the LGBT community that's forcing churches to either get right with LGBT or there ain't gonna be no happening. This is a bit of a news blog we do, looking at spiritual wickedness in high places for the most part, making some observations about it and giving people a biblical foundation to the way of interpreting, rather than have Sean Hannity or Laura Ingraham or Janine Pirro or Anderson Cooper or Rachel Maddow or Don Lemon, Rush Limbaugh interpret what's going on in the world. You come to me and I'll tell you based on what the Word of God says. They'll just give you their worldly, sinful view. But the Manning Report will tell you what God has said, whether to say yea or nay, whether to go or to stay. You'll be led by the word of Almighty God. Come to the Manning Report on a daily basis to interpret the spiritual wickedness in high places, because there's plenty of it that's going on. And so I'm the Lord's servant, James David Righteous Rebel Manning, and I'm here to serve you with news and information.